What exactly happens in the world of FPV when you give a bad review? Well, that is exactly what we're going to find out today. G'day, my name is Stu from UAVfutures, and recently we reviewed this from Beta FPV. This was the Cetus X kit. Let me tell you, it was an absolute nightmare. I slammed it. I said some things like this.
Like, why would you want a button that sort of makes everything not work on your radio? It's stupid. That is so dumb that it's on the radio. I really hate that. If you're a newcomer coming into this is going to really put somebody off.
And frankly, I thought the kit was absolute garbage. I did not enjoy it. It does not help people get into the hobby, and it pissed me off because I wanted people to have a great time. Now, a lot of people comment and often say, Stuart, what is the relationship like when you give a bad review? How do companies respond? And this is where you are going to be pleasantly surprised. Hi, Stuart. We hope the email finds you well. They take all feedback sincerely, and they would like to apologize for the bad experience I had with the kit. Good, because the kit sucked. I did not enjoy it at all. And then they said they would like a chance to explain some of their misunderstandings. They talked about the firmware and those sorts of things, and we had a bit of a back and forth discussion. But then the important part, which I think you guys need to see as well, was this right here. They said, lastly, we respect all your opinions and the fruits of your labor, and that's why after careful consideration, we are still unwilling to give up on our long-term cooperation relationship with you, and we hope this way of handling it is good for us all. And I've got to say, hats off to them, because that's exactly how a company should do it. If I review a product and it sucks, you as the viewer need to know about it, and also so does the company, so they can make things that are better in the future. And that is what we're going to do today. So they actually sent out a third kit. This was the beta flight version of the Cetus X, and if you're worried about the goggles or the radio, I basically threw them to the side straight away. My opinion hasn't changed on them. However, we're going to take this out to the field. You will see this is going to be the fourth time that we've had this out there, and it is drastically different when a company kind of listens, and we have some very important lessons that I'm sure you as viewers can put down and note as well below. If you've ever bought an FPV kit, what are some things you would like to do it straight off the bat? For me, there is so much we can change to turn a absolutely terrible kit into something that is fun and people are going to fly around and have a great time with. So let's do it. Let's go out to the field. We're going to see Super Steve out there as well, see what he thinks, and have some suggestions, which I guarantee would be absolutely game-changing if Beta FPV just changed their mind a little bit on the ways to do things. Thanks to editing, we got Super Steve right here. It is time, I'm putting that on the ground. It's time for take 3 of the Cetus X.
The infamous Cetus.
Yeah, so what did you think about the first one?
We tried this a couple of times, didn't we? The controller was the biggest letdown, then the video.
Yeah.
Drone itself didn't seem too bad.
Well, that's what we're here to test out today. I'm going to crank the camera angle because we're at Whoop Heaven. And I don't have to talk about the goggles, or I don't have to talk about anything. I'm using my own stuff here. It all fits like a dream. I know it's not digital, but it's such a shock going back to analog sometimes. Now, where's my patch antenna facing?
Facing there.
Okay, now I've got to start my DVR, which I think is on this one. I do love the Sky Zone manual. All right, let's do it. We are armed. Just in manual mode here. Just going to take it for a little cruise. And do we clear out this way, Steve? Can you see?
No traffic, all good.
All right, I'm going to give it a little pop for throttle, because that's not terrible. Like, I felt like the drone was probably the strongest part that was let down by the kit itself.
It doesn't sound like it's screaming motors or anything.
Now let's go for a little bit out. Here we are on 25 milliwatts. Again, it is hard to see versus digital, but oh man, that was a big spider web there. But let's do a little bit of a speed test down this way. And that wasn't even full stick. Yeah, it's going all right, you know, and I always felt like this was the strongest part. I would say the Cetus kit, or the Cetus X drone, is massively let down by however they've set it up. Like, the radio is actually okay, and I don't really like the goggles, but the radio, just the way it was set up with like binding it and like having those stupid VTX channels and everything disappearing, it was the worst beginner kit of a good bit of gear. I don't even know, what's a good analogy for that? It's like getting all these beautiful ingredients to make an amazing pizza, but you stick it in a blender and then say, yeah, here you go. It's everything you need for a beautiful pizza, but we've blended it together, and now it's not gonna taste good. I'm gonna try and, or I know I'm gonna break it or lose it in some water if I go around here. Let's try and do a couple little flippy floppy. and a power loop. Do you reckon I can power loop this bad boy? All right, I'm gonna do some little orbits here. Man, it's got plenty of pop.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going good.
And the flight time's actually pretty good as well. I wish I could fly my kit that it came with out of the box like this. Like, it would be so much better. This is what people need to get into FPV, a drone that feels like this. And I'm not saying they need these goggles or they need this radio, but they need it to be able to work. They want it just to, like, I don't know, that's their biggest letdown would be to FPV is they've got an okay craft here and they've got an okay radio. Sorry, I can't fly and talk, but it's just let down by the others. So let me bring this in, see if I can practice my line of sight skills here. I can't. I'm going to say thumbs up for the Cetus X. I actually really liked the drone itself. Completely let down by the others. Then we'll hand it over to Steve, see what he thinks, and then I guess the important part is the message we send back to Beta FPV. Like, they've got something good, what they need to hear, and what all companies should do. Rightio. Okay, Steve, your turn to rip this. Did you like it last time?
No, mate, I didn't even get a chance to fly the Pro.
Why?
Because the radio, the video.
It was all a nightmare. What about the first time we tried? So 2 times ago, did you get a chance that time?
Nope.
Why not?
Because nothing worked.
Yeah, so I got to say it is working. Let's do it. I'll plug this in and we'll send you off to the races. You're good to go. Well,
yeah.
We're more successful than last time anyway.
Yeah, it seems pretty good in the air. You definitely feel the weight of it, like as opposed to a 2S.
This is 2S.
Yeah, but as like a micro whoop. You know?
Okay, yep.
Like I run a Mob 7 on 2S, Mob 8 on 2S.
Yeah, okay.
But not a bad thing. It gives you a good feel of purchase in the air, I guess.
Do you feel like your Mob 8 handles better than this?
Yeah.
What battery size is the Mob 8? What do you run it on?
550, 650.
Okay.
Yeah. But
relatively comparable, a bit of a different form factor, and that's digital, but this is analog.
It is, yeah. I think the biggest thing with this, Stu, is what radio we're holding in our hands right now.
Yes.
You know, and for this kit being aimed at people coming into the hobby, being able to learn, well, they're not. They can't learn to set a radio up. They can't learn to set a model up.
Yeah, it's
can't customize anything on those old Beta.
Yes.
Radio.
Look, I don't hate the radio, but I hate that the way that it was all programmed and worked together. Like, it just was such terrible execution, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think as well.
But also being able to tune this or plug it in and customize your rates on Beta Flight.
Yep.
It's just like a real quad, you know?
But what about, do you need that though? Like, I think there's an argument to say, hey, I just want a quad that works. I would be more than happy if it said, hey, here's 2 channels and 1 button on your radio. And none of that other garbage mucked around. You didn't have to worry about that stuff. I'm fine with that, but it is just done in such a dumb, for me, again, Beta FPV, it's done in a dumb way, like that button and the goggles. Like, if you've got a button to change your VTX, don't make us cycle through 64 of them or whatever, how many actual channels. I'd just be like, oh, we've got 1 to 4,
you burn
done.
Your battery up just trying to get back on the right channel.
It's on channel 1 to 4 and have that clearly marked on the radio. So anyone who's interested in just the drone, what would you say the drone's like?
Drone?
It's a bit of a summary.
Fine.
Yep, handles well. Any oscillations?
No
and you're on 25 milliwatt. Much breakup?
No, hardly any at all. A little bit of static around the back.
Yes, that's probably to be expected. There's a bit of water in the air too here. It's a bit of a few water features.
Right, I'll bring it back.
All right, bring it in and then we'll got the important lesson that Beta FPV needs to listen to. See if I can catch it. Make sure you disarm on the other one. Hey!
Best landing we've had.
Yeah. That's the best flight we've had. Final thoughts, yay or nay on the quad itself?
If I got this as a beginner coming in, and being able to do it, because I slowed my rates down as a learner, trying to learn acro. And
this is like the default Betaflight version as well. That's a difference to understand. It is not the Cetus, what it's called, like their own flight control, their own firmware. This is the Cetus X Pro with Betaflight firmware. And this is important too, on the kit, so this is for Beta FPV, what do you think was the weakest part of the entire kit? Not how it went together out of the 3 products, the hardware wise.
I'd say the radio.
I think, piss off, I cannot state this enough, get rid of all those VTX channels. Get rid of like that stupid change it on a button. Have it, if you're going to set it up, have a little marking on the radio that says maybe change channel if you are insistent on having it. Have 4 channels. Have the goggles only can pick up those 4 channels, so it's not convoluted. There is no mucking around. Like, even if you're not setting it up, I'm not against having a kit that does everything, or like is all done for you so you can enjoy flying. I'm just against stupid decisions getting in the way. And Beta FPV said to me, maybe it's my experience in flying drones and I'm so ingrained in Betaflight, maybe that's why I'm getting it wrong. I don't know, what do you think of that?
No.
I think it's just convoluted and doesn't make sense and is some poor decisions there. So anyway, all right, Steve, thumbs up, thumbs down, or in the middle as the drone itself?
In the middle.
Okay,
Yep.
too easy. All right. Thank you. So a big shout out to Beta FPV, and if you've got some comments that you think they need to hear, please put them down below, because I guarantee they're going to be watching this video very specifically looking for any ways to improve. But for me, the long and short, and let me know if I'm wrong here, but I just want a kit that works. Get rid of, piss off, I cannot make this any more clear, Beta FPV. Get rid of all those channels and the custom firmware and all that stuff. If you insist on having that, just make it have 8 channels on there and 8 channels on the headset. That button to actually be able to do that is a nightmare. Get that off your radio. You just want the thing to work, because the drone itself is actually quite good. So that would be my #1 way to improve this kit. And if you have some ideas, please put them down below. This video is a great example of a craft that works fantastic out of the box. You can go and watch that. And again, big thumbs up for Beta FPV for not chucking a hissy fit and taking it on the chin and looking at ways to improve in the future. And I think you might appreciate that too, a little bit of an insight on what it's like behind the scenes, I guess, with the relationships with companies. As an FPV reviewer, we really can say, well, I think I can say what we like about any product that comes across our bench.